to be strong. So we'll be watching this complex playing out of the West overnight. And heading into tomorrow morning, we could see possibly a Minnesota watch getting issued, and then there could be some additional.
Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody. We do have all members present, so we have a quorum. First item on the agenda is to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is public comments. So as normal, stand up, state your name, and any public comments today.
Okay, on today, August 10th, 2026, on behalf of the 930 Tama County residents, we wish to file this petition to decrease the number of Tama County supervisors, 5 members to 3 members, of Tama County supervisors on this Monday, August 10th, 2026. Upon its validation, we ask that the Board of Supervisors on or before August 26th, 2026, not less than 69 days before the general election to be held on Tuesday, November 3rd, 2026, to notify the County Commissioner of Elections to submit the below question registered voters. Public measure, proposition by the eligible electors of Tama County to decrease the number of supervisors to 3. Shall the following public measure be adopted? For Tama County supervisors shall be decreased from 5 members to 3 members. At that time, they would vote yes or no. There was, it's been no secret about this. This has been out for quite some time, and people talked about it shortly after last vote. For a lot of comments, a lot of people coming and asking why it was 5. A lot of people didn't pay attention, and that's their fault. A lot of people don't pay attention. A lot of people might say that they don't care. Every vote counts. they say a lot of people asking questions, well, why do we have to pay fines? Well, that's up to the people. They can vote. They might vote and say to decide that they want to keep 5, but decide. Be educated on what's actually going on. Some things are concerning, that we hear from some people that they don't want to put their name out there, they don't say anything because they're afraid of something that is gonna be made in them or family member that's employed with the county or something, and they don't want anything to happen. Really concerns me because nobody should be afraid to be able to give their opinion and have to worry about their job because of their opinion. That's a bunch of crap. Stuff's going on that needs to stop. Don't need to be known for that. Everybody needs to be able to voice their opinion, get along. I've got several people and friends.
Who are they?
Yeah, both of them. Yes. We may not have the same agreement on things, but we're still friends and we get along, and there's no reason not. Then you got a few people that they're not gonna talk to you because, you know, that's too bad. Everybody should be able to get along. I'd like to be able to get along with all you guys. I mean, you know, Mark, you know that you and I don't agree on things. We talk all the time. That's how it should be. We should be able to get along and get there. We got some cases where some of these papers disappeared and stuff. Well, flat out that is illegal. You know, that shouldn't be happening. It's too bad. But we can get along, educate people, and oh, thank you very much.
Good. Anybody else? Close public comments. Next item, discuss the 26 regular minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Should a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Engineer roof projects report.
East side. Haulers are making another round. Maintenance blading going on, doing some ditching on P Avenue between 305th and 310th Street. As the weather allows this week, looks like there's a chance of the rain. We got the low water crossing tore out on 240th. In RMS, still working on that. And we're waiting on contractor quotes to come back on the E29 bridge development. And we hauled 866 tons of rock on the east side last week. The brush guys are mowing and cutting, spraying brush. The other side on the west, they finished up rocking around the bridge railings and fixing all the washouts. Should have done this on the blacktops. Muddy spots last week. They called me and we talked through some of that stuff. And the blade guys over there are doing their maintenance stuff. Fixing their washouts from the rain and they're fixing. Starting to clean some cleaning. Started a ditch cleaning and driveway project on II. Maybe LL. And if the weather holds up this week, we'll start hauling some stone to wash out culverts and treating on that path. So from
What's going on there? Oh. Blow the nose.
I was picking up our phone. So.
Yeah, you get your mic on.
Yeah. Did you? Well, that wasn't Bob, because he's here. Yeah. I don't know.
I get blamed for it, but I'm right here, son.
Bob, is your phone in your pocket? I got it silent.
I'll see what I can do.
I know you mentioned last week about driving some of the roads. I did go drive some of them on the east. I didn't get through. I just drove for a while. It's not too bad really if you follow like, thank you Ryan for that map with the haul routes kind of. It's easy to really see, so I think talking to Terry, we need to just split up the roads and try to, everybody who wants to just go drive some roads, get a map like this so we can go drive them and obviously let the actual, road guys do the final check, but I can at least mark, this ditch doesn't look like it's seeded and, this is complete muddy, this is a culvert that looks like, it's bad, there's still an orange peel next to the road, things like that. So yeah, but I did start, they looked pretty good. I drove a few of them on, west of 63 and they looked a lot better. I don't know if they just, maybe they got those roads looking better because they were earlier in the project maybe for the Salt Creek one project, but, the ones on the east are a lot worse. So.
And these are the ones that Salt Creek's supposed to fix, is right?
Yeah, yep, and they, Blattner's already left, so it'll just be whatever needs done. We'll, I'm guessing, submit a list and then get reimbursed. So yeah, just an FYI, but we need to keep driving those and try to get that done probably in the next month. So. Any other engineering? Okay. All right, next item, IT projects report. I created a separate item for David, our interim IT guy. So if he has anything IT wise each meeting, David, you can use that time to discuss. Obviously, we can't take action since it's just more of a discussion, but.
No, well, you guys already gave me permission to commit funds. So, we had 2 bids come in for a generator at conservation. Conservation is one of our backup locations in the event of an emergency. There was no generator there. I don't know why. Well, we're gonna put one in. So I've signed off on a bid for $46,675. Sean Weber's is gonna put it in, and the conservation board met Wednesday night, and they're going to put in the 1,000-gallon propane tank. Sean Weber is gonna make all the connections for that. The next lowest bid was around $10,000 more. So, don't know exactly when that's going to be done, but it'll be done in the relatively near future. Then we purchased some more switches so that, power over the Ethernet switches so that we can get rid of the wall warts. They're gone already on our desks. So we're doing well there. Got more plans in the sheriff's building. I have to check, I believe, and he's not here. We put cages up to clean up the mess. Years, that's going away. Everything's going to be professionally done. The sheriff's moving to a new office, and so we had to do some work in his office to clean that mess up. So we're moving along. What we do is going to be professional. I have 2 other contracts out there for cameras, one at the West Annex, and then one for the secondary roads at K Avenue. We've got about $6 million or more worth of equipment there. It's not fenced anymore, so that's all falling underneath the IT world.
Okay, thank you, David. Next item, discussion possible action on resolution 8-10-2026, Regional Trust Fund contribution.
So Marty Whitemore from Region 6 had shown that in. He was supposed to be here today, but he must not be able to make it. So
Okay,
you'll notice that the next fiscal year's asking is a lot less than what we have done in previous years.
okay. Did he say, does he want approval today without, or do we want to wait till he gets?
I would say
comes
if
in?
you're okay that you could approve it today without him.
Okay.
It's the normal contribution that we do every fiscal year. It's just it's less this next fiscal year.
Okay. Let the board decide there. It's like it's 7,470.
What was it before?
It was like 20,000, I believe, before. It's quite a bit less.
They're increasing it last year.
There was, I don't remember, sorry, by my, real quick, there was a reason.
I don't think we're using that. I just said it was not provided, it wasn't going well or what.
It's a local match, so every dollar we contribute, they brought out 3 from the bids, but I don't think that we're not getting the money.
From the feds. You're saying we're not getting the money from the feds?
We're not giving it out.
Oh, giving
it.
Oh, yeah.
You got anything on that, Jake? Know anything about it? The rural housing trust fund?
I don't know exactly how the number is determined.
It's because the match rate is now 10% and not 25%.
Oh, okay.
The amount available in the total fund is also less than what it was the year before.
So it's either one or two things. They're not having to give up as much housing, or we're not getting enough more money in. Because I'm surmising that is the case, probably the lack of money.
I'll make the motion, we approve the Region 6 Housing Trust Fund.
I'll second it.
Motion is second, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call?
Kilmer,
Aye.
Turner,
Aye.
Knibble,
Aye.
Dolman.
Aye.
Tucker.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Next item, discussion possible action on the comprehensive lease plan. I'm still waiting for some details back on this. I put on there since Marty was gonna be here in case we wanted to ask him any questions on the contract, but, if anybody has anything or, it's on there, otherwise we can just take no action and move on. Jake, go ahead.
The one point I was gonna bring up, I was not here at the meeting, we last discussed about it, was that, the one key piece that I think comes out of the comprehensive land plan is the steering committee and the community meetings. One thing that I think we have to just take into account is as we're setting up this plan for the zoning ordinances and moving forward, the land plan is what educates the zoning board on what the community wants. And so a part of this plan, whatever we looks like, from my research and what I've seen other counties do, is somebody probably should be in charge of be organizing meetings, you know, for Gladbrook and Schreier to get together, and maybe go by your districts, right, or however you want to do it. And then we sit down with public and say openly, okay, if we let solar, community solar exist, what guidelines do we want as a community? Make sure that we're informing good ordinances. And so the only thing I would vouch for, or, you know, I talked to Heather a little bit about, you know, I could certainly help with this process, is that we have some element in there of feedback from the community. And that way too, when the citizens come and they have an issue with an ordinance, we could say, hey, we did our due diligence. So you had an opportunity, not that you can't be heard now, but, you know, we as a community had an opportunity and these, you know, meetings, discussions. And so I just think that's the one thing that is important about the comprehensive land plan that I just don't see us yet. I mean, I know we did the survey. That's one aspect, but like everything, you know, my dad probably did the survey, you know, and I know he came down here and got a paper one, but he doesn't get to drive out too far. So, but just it gives us an example of just more touch points. That's the only thing that I was going to bring up. And I know I didn't have time to talk to all of you separately about that, but that's one piece that I think would be that include somehow, even if it's not involved with Marty, and like I said, I'd be more than happy to help organize that, but I also think it's important that you guys say to me, yeah, do that, or yeah, don't do that. Whatever we think it looks like, but.
Definitely. Yeah, and I think the public engagement is very important, you know, like we quoted out another company too, and those public meetings are important, you know, it's, you can't just have the meetings here at, you know, Wednesday nights, and that's good, and, you know, you gotta go out into some of the public, so yeah, that's something that we can look into too. We're already paying them, like we've said in the past, you know, if they can help out to facilitate some meetings and outreach, what do people want, what ordinances do they want, you know, things like that. So. Any other thoughts?
Was Laura gonna be doing this?
It could be in parallel, I guess,
I
or,
didn't know what the-
yeah, yeah. I know they already have a group of people that come. They've reached out to a lot of different community leaders. But to actually go, I haven't talked to Laura, that would do these community meetings. I think so. That's where I was hoping, yeah, Marty would be here today, but I think, they could do the same activities at least, whether it be just here or whether they're gonna go to the communities, that I don't know. But that is part of the process.
And like I said, I don't know if that involves 3D6 or not. I don't think that's imperative. It's just whatever, and like you said, I don't know exactly what has been done. I just haven't seen. So, I mean, I think I'm on the email list to be kind of given the notice in the meeting, but I just don't know if that's all been. I don't know if there is a steering committee, I don't know, or I don't know if it's the zoning board just doing their thing as themselves. And is the discussion when they come back here, that's when it starts. If that's the way it needs to be, that's the way it needs to be too, but I was just curious about that.
Laura, commented that she would like to remind everyone that zoning meetings are published in newspapers and online, and everyone's welcome to input. The zoning commission has been discussing community meetings, are working on details of how to work it.
Okay.
And I wasn't calling anybody out. I was saying this.
Clearly you felt like you would.
I want to be a part of that. I think that's an important part of the comprehensive plan.
Yep. Sounds good. All right. Anything else? Okay, thank you, guys. Next item, discussion possible action to approve Tama County Safety Manual.
Yeah, so on behalf of the safety committee, I'm presenting you guys the safety manual that we worked through, a combination between our previous manual we had and then our previous insurance company that we kind of combined together and banded together best works for Tama County. So that's what it's for that part. So
Okay.
but yeah, just submit for you guys to approve. If you want to look over it more, that's fine. But
Any huge changes?
not really. It was just kind of more of just getting more up to date of the new standards and just kind of what the previous safety director, Harrison Reekers, suggested. So just kind of tailoring and kind of making sure the wording of it was all correct and stuff like that. So trying to make sure it makes sense.
Yeah.
I think I would rather have had the chance to read this before the meeting, before we approve it. I have no problem with the safety plan, and I'd like your comment, any changes. I'm used to, when we get new stuff.
Yeah.
For rules, the changes are highlighted, so it calls your attention to it. So if you guys would object, I'd like to have the approved process for next meeting. Give me a chance to read through it and ask questions.
Yeah. I know I read through it, but I don't know what changed, I guess would be, because I know Karen sent it out, but I don't know what changed from last time. So you guys let me know if you want to get it.
Do you have the old?
I have to look for it. I don't know.
Could you get that? So
Yeah, I don't know if I have a digital copy of it, but I think I might have a physical one. I could
Fiscal's fine.
probably see it and send it to you guys.
Yeah, I just like to compare. Yeah. But we definitely need to have a safety and health manual that we follow.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to make sure before I say I approve of it, I want to read it.
Yeah, for sure. And then after talking with our county safety trainings back in June with Troy, I found out we don't have a hazard communication plan either. So that would be something that will be in the works as well. I'll submit to you guys as well.
Okay.
Down the road,
So I guess I need to make a motion that we will table this, because we can legally do that, table this to the next meeting. Okay. Second.
All right, motion and second to table, all in favor say aye. Opposed? It is tabled, so next meeting, Karen, if you want to add that for next meeting. Next item, discussion possible action on CPR training for county employees.
Yeah, so this was just more of a guidance from you guys, because I know previously it was pushed, I believe, by the safety director to have all the county employees take CPR, so I don't know if you guys want to continue that, because I'm currently the only county CPR instructor. So I mean, I can only legally teach 6 people at a time, so if we would do everybody, I mean, I could reach out to like Tama and Toledo EMS to help out to do that, if you guys want to continue that. But I mean, with the AD here, you could probably get away with a couple people in each department to be certified to do it. So then we're still have somebody in the building to have CPR, and then obviously the foremans have AEDs, correct? And then probably the road foremans. So I mean, that's one way, or if we want to continue having all the county employees do it. I mean, I'll leave that up to you guys to decide, so.
What does that look like from the insurance side?
I don't know, I haven't asked Judy, I don't know if they have, I don't think it has to be everybody, but
Yeah,
I'd have to ask.
I don't remember seeing any, what we actually have to have everybody. So that's kind of why we do it in the annex here.
And I know secondary roads, obviously,
Yeah.
if your departments that are gonna use it, obviously, that's
Yeah.
required or important.
What's the, period between
2 years. It's a 2 year.
every 2 years?
Yeah, it's every 2 years we have to do it.
So does public health also have to train?
They're supposed to, I'm not sure of that, but I know I did one of the nurses, but I haven't done any other stuff on. Early this spring, I did one. But yeah, I just want to bring that up for discussion and let you guys decide. Or what, the insurance suggests, so.
Is some of the other, you said Tama Toledo, are they willing to do it? Like,
Yeah,
is it for a cost or is it free or how would that work? I guess?
So the way I've done it with other departments, 911 and sheriff's offices, I just provide the training, they just pay for the cards.
Mhm.
That's kind of, and it's like $825 a card.
Right,
It's not crazy expensive. So,
Structure.
yeah, if there's other instructors, like what they'd be looking for, you know, like just volunteer or is it?
from what I understand, Jesse would be more than willing to help out. So, I mean, we can dig into it more, what you guys want to do. And then we can talk more with Jesse or, Ruth down to Tama and see what if they volunteer or what that would look like.
It's a worthwhile endeavor.
It's not a bad thing.
I mean, it's a great life skill to always have to.
It is. Yep. Yeah, I don't know if it's good to see if you guys could make it happen to have everybody, and then if some people don't want to, like you said, as long as there's, like, do we force it, or is it just as long as there's enough per area, you know? But like, I agree, it's a good life skill, you never know in public too, where you're gonna, you could be walking out to your car too and have something happen, you know?
Has it been mandatory in the past for our department? We all had to do it.
Thought it was when Harrison was the safety director, but
Yeah,
It's not a bad
I
thing.
would say, I think if you not demand it of everybody, I think a lot of people are not gonna go do it.
yeah,
I just, in the interim, I just wasn't sure what you guys, I just want to verify what you guys wanted, so.
guess let's get a plan of doing everybody and see what that would entail, and then I can talk to the risk pool. I'm, like I said, I know it's not required for everybody, but through the risk pool anyway, but yeah, we can bring it back then if that works for you.
That'll work.
Thanks for bringing it up. I know it's been circulating.
Yeah,
Yeah, because some people are probably becoming due, right? That they
yeah,
need to
it'll,
get
I
that.
think go later this fall, I think.
And it might be good to maybe gauge what date will everyone expire, so that way you can start doing, in the meantime, you know, start doing those ones
Yeah.
that are gonna expire too. Would be
Yeah.
good. Yeah, prioritizing your 6 people groups. Yeah,
Karen, did we not just pay for batteries for CPR or for the AEDs?
Yep.
You know if we've gotten those?
We did get the batteries,
Okay.
yes.
okay. So take no action today, or does anybody wanna make a motion?
You wanna wait for a plan?
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Make it mandatory.
Consensus
That kind of-
is with everybody. I think.
Yeah, I think so. Have everybody and bring back the plan and get it in motion.
Yeah, I'll reach out to the department heads and see what, the
Yeah.
cards expiring.
Okay. Sounds good.
We'll go from there.
All right, thank you. Hey, Marty. Let's keep rolling on the last topic for action on first aid kits.
Yeah, so, you're kind of wondering what funding sources would be there for those, since there's a box in here, first aid box in here, sheriff's office, engineer's office, and all the county, sheds have one, so I was wondering, with it being here, if it would come out of Dirk's budget and the sheriff's office. I'm just curious what, if we have to restock it, what that funding source was, because I read previously it was out of the safety budget. So I was just curious what, or how we want to do that, because I know with the ADs, you guys had it come out of the department's budget. So with the box being in the building located, I wasn't sure how you guys wanted to go about that.
Do you remember, do you know?
Where's it located?
So, yeah, the break room.
Oh, for here.
Yeah, and then also in the break room, sheriff's office.
Oh,
You know,
that's about as the auditors.
It's not the safety. It's not the safety's budget.
So we still have money in the safety budget for that, right?
No,
Where
safety
we
budget went away.
Yeah, so that's why.
It went away or we just zeroed it?
It's you zeroed it. The
Okay.
funds or the expenditure numbers are still there and everything, but there's nothing in the
Yeah,
budget
okay.
in the safety.
So that was one thing I was kind of curious what you guys wanted to, how we wanted to keep that. Cause I know there's a couple of things like the fluid and stuff, like eyewash solution, that kind of stuff, it has an expiration date. So we kind of need to keep that on a rotation to make sure it's all not expired.
So who's responsible for checking?
Did we determine yet?
Do you volunteer?
I mean, the sheds might be a little difficult to get around to for me. Maybe between uniforms, we could probably get to most of them and figure out what's all expired, what's not, and we can go from there, if that works. They all should have all the same stuff.
And it was determined it should come out of auditors now? Is that what we did this? Decided
Custodian of buildings.
Still an engineer.
I'm sure he'd be happy with that.
Any thoughts, guys, or do we need I mean, could we check with what other counties do too, like check with Marshalltown, Man, and see what they do, or, I mean, if it's for everybody, I would think it's more of a maintenance or a safety, but if it doesn't, if it can't come out of yours, then it would almost have to be maintenance one, and if it's a shared thing. I mean, the sheriff, if it's in the sheriff's area, like, I would think it'd come out of theirs, but,
They take care of their own AEDs, first aid kits, sheriff's office.
yeah.
We could always put a budget line in with you guys too, then you could have it come out of your budget, but
Is it the under a budget anyway? Maintenance,
yeah,
Yeah,
it does general.
It's a sub out of us, so it doesn't, yeah.
either one.
And just get those costs, like what we're looking at, or that way, just put Dirk and us on there, and that way we know.
Do you guys check the beds too on the AEDs to see if they're expired?
I thought they did that.
Yeah, we did that part of that. That was
Went around and
done,
did that.
I think in the springtime.
Those are getting hard to get.
Yeah,
We just updated ours with the batteries, so.
yeah. So the AED should be good for a little while. It's just like the actual cabinets. I know there's some like antibiotics, eyewash solution and stuff that has expiration.
Why did it, you know, how to get?
Huh?
Why never to get?
I think probably because everybody bought them during COVID and then they're all expiring. So,
Yeah.
Right.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah.
Appreciate you bringing those things up. We'll go back up, Marty. We already approved the Region 6 Housing Trust Fund, so we already got it done. Is there any other questions going back up, or if Marty wants to give any
Wasn't there?
comments too, or?
Just a quick question on that, the rural housing trust, or for the Region 6 Housing Trust Fund, it decreased because our match went down from 25% to 10% essentially. Are we getting that money out the door?
Right now, we kind of have a backlog because of contractors availability is a concern for us, so we do have, yes, a lot of projects kind of backed up in the fund, but, we're doing what we can to work with the lack of contractors out there, so if there's any contractors in the area that are interested in potentially working with us, we generally do, windows and roofs, and sometimes siding, work, so that's typically what we do. Sometimes we get into other emergencies in the house, like heating systems, and we have a house here in town that has some plumbing problems, so we're dealing with that, so. Just a variety of things, but yeah, the state reduced the local match from 25 down to 10%, which is a nice change for us, so, and Tama County's been a great supporter over the last 15, 16 years. We've been running this program, so it's been a good activity for us. We've done some good projects here in the county, so.
They also use it for tenant-based grant assistance.
We don't do any tenant-based rental systems. We did do the project down at the shop on the corner, just be west of the Weeding Theater there. There were 3 apartments upstairs. We helped renovate those 3 apartments. There was other funding there too, but we were one of the many players that were needed to layer financing to get that project done. So, yeah, we appreciate all your support, and I note to myself not to schedule one of these after being on vacation. So, it's like, wow.
Yep. I think the other question that came up is on the comprehensive land use plan is, do you go do public meetings like with the public if you're contracted to do the comprehensive land use plan, or and if you do you do it just here in this office, or do you go out to the different cities or, rural areas to like have public meetings to get input on the comprehensive land use plan?
Yeah, I know. I met with Laura there 10 days ago or so about this.
Yep.
Sounds like the county has done a nice survey.
Yeah.
Had one
Yep.
larger open meeting, and attendance was pretty low at that larger open meeting. So certainly if you want us to get involved and you want us to hold meetings around the county or whatever, yeah, we can do that, or we can take the other approach to just try to get it done as quick as possible and make that stuff. So, because frankly, you've done a good amount of efforts or with Laura and everything. So that's probably a question back to you is how you really want to proceed. You want to just get it done and move on, or?
Yep. Okay. Yeah, we probably won't make a decision today. We just were bringing it up so we can have conversation. We're hopefully next week or two, we can get some input. At least zoning's still working forward on it at the moment, so.
I intend to get you something here by the end of the week, so it'll be definitely lesser cost than what I
Since
talked
there's already
about
some work
previously,
done,
because, you've done
they've
a
done
lot
quite
of
a bit
work and some good work here, so, I don't want to discount it.
Okay, any other questions for Marty on the other topic? Okay, thank you, Marty.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a great day. All right, next item, discussion possible action on auditor's quarterly report.
Nothing special with it, just we forgot that it was due, and so we're now presenting it to you. We're a little late on it.
Motion to approve it.
I'll second the motion.
However you want to do that.
Karen's got it. Motion and second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carries. Discussion possible action on Tama County Employee Handbook. Paul. Anything for us? And we have a copy of it here.
Yeah, so just like with the safety manual, if you want to take some time to review it in more detail. Otherwise, it's been a process working with the department head team and elected official team. As an outsider, I would say you have a very strong leadership team in place. Oftentimes in these, I have to encourage people to speak their piece, share their opinion. It's not really been a problem here. That's a good thing. So very active conversation. As a team, we've kind of rewritten it. The highlights, we've adjusted the equal employment opportunity to reflect the current civil rights laws, adjusted the harassment and the sexual harassment policy to make sure it's following kind of the human resources best practices. Same with veterans preference, cleaned up that language to make sure we're compliant with Iowa law. The handbook would also address the PTO system that we have in place for most employees. One question had come up with funeral leave and as far as coverages, from my perspective, there really isn't a right answer as to what should happen with funeral leave. The language that's being presented today would show that, and it's on page 16, that employees would be granted time off with pay for up to 5 days in the event of the death of a spouse or a child. And then it drops down to 3 days with the definition of their immediate family member. And then the immediate family member gets into father, mother, brother, or sister, mother-in-law, father-in-law, grandparents, spouses, grandparents, grandchild's, guardian. Extended family includes sister-in-law, brother-in-law, aunt, uncle, niece, or nephew. And those extended family would receive 1 day of paid time off. So been some conversation. Again, there's no right answer or wrong answer as to who should fall into different categories. But I know that was one that I don't know that we reached consensus on from a department head team as far as who should fall into it. I think the conversation is, do you put other people into that 5 days off? Right now it covers spouse and child, you put parent in there. Again, whenever I talk about funeral leave, to me, there's a personnel side of it, which should be the policy, and then the personal side of it. Say, there's just a million conversations of, well, what if I was closer to my aunt than I was my sister? And this also touches on step relationships too. So again, just a little bit of a change, I think, on the cell phone part of it, cell phone policy, which is on page 19. But I think the conversation has been that if a cell phone is going to be required that an employee has, the county will issue it. But that we wanted to try to get away from the reimbursement of someone's personal cell phone for county business. That would be one bigger change to make sure the board was okay with that. And then this is a living document. I would expect to be changes and, it'd be multiple times a year. We'll come back to the board with updates or changes or, hey, we wrote this in a way, but there's some confusion in the way this is worded, so let's clean it up. So certainly something that I would expect us to revisit as needed, but at least on an annual basis.
So one question just kind of overall is, can a department head go more relaxed? Like, let's say they, do they have to actually follow, this is what it is and it has to be this? Or can they say, okay, I know you're close to your, sister, your aunt, or, can they go outside of that? Or is this like it and it's it, no matter what, or department heads are elected, do they have that right to change it?
And the idea behind county government from an HR perspective is weird. Because you have elected officials.
Right.
Who have considerable autonomy. So, right, as we all know, none of us can tell Karen what to do.
Yeah.
We derive that backlash for that. So we can't make her do anything she doesn't want to do. That's true for any elected official. Then you have departments that work for external boards and commissions, right? E911, emergency management, I don't even know where to put, right? It's in this weird place that, right? That it's ultimately up to the conservation board to set their policy, ultimately up to the board of health. So the way we went forward, and this is what the board had asked me to do, is to say, hey, we understand that each of those entities have the power to do things, but can we as a team get together to say, look, let's get together and come up with something that we think we can all live with. Can there be exceptions? Yeah. It could be like dress code. We write it pretty generically that if a certain department or office wants to have a different kind of dress code, they can. The idea is that we have one basis document that applies to everybody, but I would expect there to be differences. Conservation or secondary roads, I'm sure has standard operating procedures that deal with things others don't. Sheriff's office does as well. But yeah, there can be differences to it. My hope would be is every office and department would say, we accept this. And if there needs to be an addendum, or if there are a couple differences, then I would say, let's write that. Make sure that we're all following the same basis of the handbook. And then exceptions can go from there.
Okay. Yeah, because a couple items I had was like the nursing mom, like having a space for them, you know, it's 1 year, that's like what the state is, right? But if a department head's like, hey, you know, employee X wants to go 1 more month, like that, you know, they could allow them to do that, or do we need to say based on department heads can?
That would, yeah, hopefully it's worded in a way that, they would have that ability.
Yeah, it's just more like that's the standard. And then the other item was like FMLA. It said you had to burn all PTO, which we only are PTO now, right? There's no sick days. You'd have to burn all but 5 days. Again, I was, you know, my kids are getting a little bit older, but I was with a baby at one point. So if we want to recruit women, if they had to burn all their vacation but 5 days, and let's say they were in the beginning of their anniversary date, they get back at 12 weeks, and then they got baby doctor appointments, they got their doctor appointments, they got sickness, let's say it comes in, you know, I guess in my mind, I'm kind of advocating for the mom side. We do want to get women and moms, you know, to work for Tama County. So that'd be another area. Again, do we do an exception? Is it different than if you're gonna have surgery, or is it not, you know?
With the FMLA, I think the short term would kick in and cover new moms. So I think that was one.
So nowadays that might help with us doing the short term.
Correct. So I think that's one primary benefit to the PTO.
Yeah.
Is that with the short term and the long term options.
Yep.
That new mom who before was hired would only have available to the
Right.
few hours they accrued. So now.
Yep.
For those new moms, this would be better.
Yep.
With the holding back of the 5 days. And it's, from my perspective, we allow employees, if you're on FMLA, you have to use all sources of pay concurrently, up to the exception of the 5 days. To me, the reason for that is it ties into the unpaid leave of absence section. That I've not run into it in Tama County, but I do have other counties that have had systems in place where employees could just decide not to work one day. It was the secondary roads department where a lot of the guys farmed. And so they would just call in and they'd just say, today's a no pay day when they're planting and harvesting. And so they would just not work, not get paid. And so we were trying to get away from that being an acceptable use of an unpaid leave. So it's the HR side of me. That's a primary reason I think people don't like me. To say, hey, we just can't have employees just deciding not to work. That's a requirement of the job. So on an unpaid leave of absence, we have very specific times that you can do it. If you're a brand new employee, you don't have time built up, you have a vacation already scheduled, no problem. Public service leave, this is actually a law with the sheriff's office, and if the deputy wants to run against the sheriff, you have to provide this public service leave, extenuating medical circumstances, or unpaid bereavement. So the idea behind all this would be, if I have an employee who's celebrating their 25th wedding anniversary and they have a 1 week cruise set up, if I don't allow them the flexibility to have that 1 week to hold back on the FMLA side and say, you got to use all your time, then when their vacation pops up, I'm going to say, you don't have enough leave. Sorry, you have to cancel your trip, because that trip wouldn't count as an appropriate use of an unpaid leave of absence. So we allow employees to decide whether they want to hold back. If they had exactly 12 weeks of paid leave available and they need to be on FMLA for 12 weeks, they could say, yeah, I want to hold off and not get paid for one of those weeks so I can use it for my vacation. So, but I think overall, especially for new moms, this is better than what was in place previously.
I would also add that they're gonna earn PTO every payroll, so as far as doctor's appointments and stuff, they're going to continuously be earning back that leave, so they'll always have
So it's not like you have to wait till your anniversary, I know, I like what you've done. Paul, the guys and gals have done a really good job on this.
Yeah.
I think they've cussed and discussed an awful lot of stuff. Maybe not cussed, but they've discussed a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there was cussing.
Yeah, but to get this all,
Just from the HR guys.
I mean,
I get cussed out a lot, that's the witness.
I think it's an impressive document and the amount of time the department heads put into this is just, it's amazing. This is exactly what I kind of expect. But the public servants are supposed to do, so. I'm ready for this document because it's a living document.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion. I'm making a motion, we approve it. Second.
Motion is second, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, discussion / approved claims.
Okay, we have two sets of claims here. First one is for health in the amount of $1,095. So it's 1,095.00. Make a motion to approve that. And then we have in our regular claims, you ready to copy my? We got 149,367.31. So $149,367.31. And I make a motion that we approve that one also. Should we just combine that into one?
Give us one at a time, probably, or two.
You usually do one at a time.
So,
I already made a motion for that one first already.
Okay, yes.
I'll second.
motion second on the health fund, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right, go ahead, David, on the second one.
I make a motion, we approve the regular claims listing for $149,367.31.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries. New business supervisor reports. Is there any updates from your boards that you guys go to? Week, everybody good?
I already did all mine.
Yeah, I
Okay.
didn't have anything new.
Okay. All right, we'll take no action on that. Let's go ahead and open up public comments again. Is there any more public comments? Please raise your hand if you have anything to say. Okay. Close public comments. Next item, exempt meeting, Iowa Code Chapter 20.173, negotiation session, strategy meetings of public employers, mediation, and the deliberative process of arbitrators shall be exempt from the provisions of Chapter 21. This session will be used to discuss these items as well as a grievance from the Secondary Roads Union. So at this time, we're going to go into exempt session. Are we staying in here, Karen and Paul, or are we
I
going?
did not check for the other room, but I can sure go check if you'd like to go down there.
How many people do we got? Is it, should be big enough, or do we want to stay here? We'll stay here then, yeah. So at this point, it's exempt session. When we come out of exempt session, there'll be one more agenda item and adjournment after that, so. Thank you guys for coming.
Getting the meeting back.
Didn't know Mike was out there waiting.
Yeah, I knew he was waiting.
Poor guy.
Thanks for bringing our chair back, Mike.
Yeah.
Did you have games on your phone you get to play or something there?
I was reading my book.
No.
Michelle, we all up and going? Okay, we are back from exempt meeting for Iowa Code Chapter 20.173 and the grievance. Next item is discussion, possible action on items from exempt session. Is there any motions or is there no action on that item?
I would say no action.
I have no action.
No action.
Okay, there's no action on that. I believe we got everything on the list.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Whoop,
You were faster.
Okay.
Third.
Cupcake, second.
Okay.
Motion and a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 10:50. Thank you, everybody.
At least you got to read your book.
So explain.
Should have got you more comfortable.